Hey guys, I am Dev from Dev's Arena. Today I have a Realme 7 with me which I am going to unbox, and I will also share my first impression of the device with you. I bought the device from Flipkart on its very first sale and the product was delivered within a day. I actually bought this for my father. The device comes with 2 RAM and internal storage options, one with 6 GB of RAM and 64 GB of internal storage, which cost 14,999, and another with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage, which cost 16,999. They are also available on realme.com at the same prices. I ordered the 6 GB RAM and 64 GB internal storage version, and the color I opted was mist blue. There is another color available which is mist white. Let's now do the unboxing. To be honest with you guys, I am not a huge fan of this kind of boxes. It's not because of any particular personality, but I would have preferred a more subtle looking box with just the model name written on it, or having the picture of the device itself instead of an image of any person on it. In fact, I liked Realme's signature yellow box more, which was supplied with the previous generation Realme phones under the number series. For example, Realme 6, 6i, 6 Pro, etc., or even with some C series devices also. Whatever, I am more interested in the contents inside the box rather than the box itself. So moving forward, let's check what's written on the box. The MRP written on the box is 17,999. On the back side, the main 4 features of the phone are highlighted, which are Sony 64 megapixel quad camera, Helio G95 gaming processor, 30 watt dart charge with 5000 mAh battery, and 90 Hz ultra smooth display. Also, Realme claims that they are the #1 quality smartphone brand in India, but this is something almost every brand claims to be. Anyway, for your information, the SAR values of the device are 0.99 watt per kg for the head and 0.934 watt per kg for the body, which are well below the maximum limit of 1.6 watt per kg in India. It's also written that the device is made in India, which is partially true because the device is not entirely made in India but assembled in India. Now let's open the lid, and it says, "Hey, welcome to Realme family." And inside this small box there is a quick guide, a safety guide, and a UV rainland certificate which ensures the quality of the product. Also, a soft TPU case has been provided. There is also a SIM ejector pin inside this small box. Next, as you can see, the device is there. So taking it out and keeping it aside for the moment, we now have a 30 watt power adapter and a USB Type-C charging cum data cable. The power adapter supports Realme's dart charge technology. The voltage and current ratings are 5 volt 6 ampere or 5 volt 2 ampere. So it means this adapter will charge a device equipped with Realme's dart charge technology with a speed of 30 watt. But any other device which does not come with this particular technology with a speed of 10 watt only. The cable is also thicker than normal cables, as it has to withstand 6 ampere of current flowing through it. For a quick comparison, here is a normal micro USB cable which supports only up to 2 ampere current, and here is the cable that comes with Realme 7. So you can see the cable of Realme 7 is a bit thicker. I wish the cable was slightly longer. It is about 1.1 meter long. Okay guys, enough of the accessories. Now let's get back to the most important thing, that is the device. The device is entirely made of plastic, be it the back panel or the frame. It's actually a polycarbonate back with matte finish. It looks really good with the gradient design, but I would have liked a glass back more instead of polycarbonate. The bottom half of the back is kind of navy blue or blackish, and the top half is some kind of glacier blue. It reflects light from certain angles, as you can see. Although it is a matte finish, sometimes it attracts fingerprints and smudges, which are of course lot less than a polycarbonate back with glossy finish or a glass back, but sometimes you can see some smudges, especially when you are holding the device with sweaty fingers. The camera bump is quite prominent and consists of 4 lenses and a flash module. The main is the 64 megapixel Sony IMX682, and then there is a 8 megapixel ultra wide lens with a 119 degree field of view, followed by a black and white sensor of 2 megapixel resolution for portrait shots with some special filters, and a 2 megapixel macro lens. I don't know if it even deserves a mention. Yes, I am talking about the macro lens. It's almost 1 year since Realme is launching devices one after another, almost 10 to 12 devices starting from Realme 5 I guess, with the same macro lens without any significant improvement at all. While every brand has started giving a better macro lens, I think it is high time that Realme considered an upgrade of this lens. Anyway, on the top of the device there is nothing. On the left hand side there is the SIM tray, which is a triple cut slot with support for 2 nano SIMs and a micro SD card. Below the SIM tray there are volume up and down keys. On the bottom side there is 3.5 mm headphone jack port, the microphones, the USB Type-C port and the speaker grill. And on the right hand side there is the power button on which the fingerprint scanner is embedded. On the front it has a 6.5 inch Full HD plus IPS LCD display which has a punch hole cutout at the top left corner for the 16 megapixel front camera. The sensor used for the front camera is Realme's favorite Sony IMX471, which they are using for a quite long time in many of their smartphones. The front has really thin bezels around it, as you can see, and the chin is also not very big, which looks nice. The display protection used in this case is Corning Gorilla Glass 3. There is a screen protector film pre-applied on the display. It is a plastic screen protector and definitely not a tempered glass. Although it weighs around 197 grams, it does not feel very heavy in hand. It is slightly top heavy, but I would say the overall weight distribution has been done well. It has a 9.4 mm thickness. It is a compact device which is comfortable to hold and use. The edges of the back panel are slightly carved, which helps to grip the phone sturdily. The phone fits well inside the case, as you can see, and the case provides some sort of protection to the screen also, as it is slightly raised over the screen. Guys, I already set the device up and configured the fingerprint sensor and the facial recognition. So let's check those. As you can see, the fingerprint sensor is very fast to respond and it is accurate too. And now it's time for the face unlock. You can see it is also very fast and responsive. Also, if you notice, there is a cool animation going on around the punch hole every time when you unlock the phone with your face. Although there is no physical LED notification in this device. To summarize the hardware specification, it is powered by MediaTek Helio G95 chipset with highest CPU clock speed of 2.05 GHz, which is very powerful and produces a score over 3 lakhs in AnTuTu benchmark test. The handset is equipped with 6 GB or 8 GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 64 GB or 128 GB of UFS 2.1 storage, which is lot faster than eMMC storages. It has a huge 5000 mAh battery with support for 30 watt fast charging. Realme claims that the phone charges from 0% to 50% in just 26 minutes and 0% to 100% within an hour or so, which is really very impressive for a budget mid-range device like this. You can easily get up to 2 days of battery life on casual usage and up to 1 day or more than 1 day of battery life on medium to heavy usage. On the software side of things, the phone runs Android 10 with Realme UI 1.0 out of the box. The security patch is of August 2020 after an update it received very recently. Before it was of July 2020. It comes with some bloatwares, but none of them are among the banned apps. For example, some apps like Google Podcast, Google One, and some of Realme's own applications like Realme Store, Realme Pay, etc. Also Amazon is there, which you can uninstall. But there are some apps which you cannot uninstall like GPay or Google Duo or Google Files, etc. The device doesn't have FM radio app, but you can download any third-party FM radio app from Play Store. You can also disable UI ads with a single click. All you have to do is to go to the settings and then additional settings and then get recommendation, and you have to turn this get recommendation off. The display looks good in terms of color and the viewing angles are also great. It has a peak brightness of 480 nits. It also supports HDR10. Let's play something from YouTube. So as you can see, the colors are vivid. The black levels are also good for an IPS display. It also has Widevine L1 certification, so you can do HD streaming on OTT platforms like Netflix and Prime Video, etc. There is a system-wide dark mode which you can enable pulling down the notification bar. Also you can go to display settings and turn it on from there. You can choose between the display refresh rates of 90 Hz and 60 Hz, or you can just keep it on auto mode, in which the device will intelligently switch between 60 Hz and 90 Hz according to the usage scenario. The touch sampling rate of the display is 120 Hz, which is slightly less in my opinion. 180 Hz would have been better, specifically if you consider gaming. The bottom firing mono speaker also does a decent job. It is pretty loud and produces good quality sound. The speaker is tuned by Dirac Audio. Let me play something. It's in maximum volume. I don't think my camera microphone is capturing the audio well because it is of low quality. Still, I noticed at highest volume a very little distortion occurs, but it is acceptable. It supports aptX and aptX HD Bluetooth audio codecs. The sound quality from the headphone jack is also very good. The performance of the device is top notch, especially in this price segment because of the powerful chipset it has. You will barely notice any lag. In my usage, I never noticed any lag or stuttering in the UI. The UI is very well optimized. Talking about gaming, COD Mobile runs with very high graphics and high frame rates in this device. The device comes with dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0. It does not support Navic, which is a limitation of the chipset. It also does not support Wi-Fi 6, which is of course not expected in this price range. But it has all the important sensors like proximity sensors, gyroscope, magnetic induction sensor or the e-compass or the electronic compass sensor, ambient light sensor, etc. Remember guys, it is a 4G phone, It supports dual 4G VoLTE and voice over Wi-Fi. I have tested with phone calls from my Jio SIM and the voice over Wi-Fi works flawlessly without any issue. On the camera front, it has a quad camera setup which I already mentioned. Guys, let me take you through a quick tour of this camera app. So you can see there is the ultra wide option, 1x, that is the regular lens, this is 2x and this is 5x. So there are different modes, portrait mode, 64 megapixel mode, and if you go to more, there are time lapse, ultra macro, Google lens, slow motion, expert mode and panorama. You can go this side and there is a dedicated night mode also, and this is the button to turn on Realme's study mode, which helps in astrophotography. For video, you can take videos up to 4K resolution with 30 frames per second only, and 1080p resolution with 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second. Remember guys, you only get the video stabilization with 1080p 30 fps mode and not with the 4K or 1080p 60 fps. So this is how the camera interface looks like in the new Realme 7. I will be adding some camera samples to give you guys an idea how the cameras actually perform. It definitely seems to be a very good value for money device under 15K with excellent performance, nice display and battery backup, and a very good camera setup, specifically the main 64 megapixel Sony sensor with more improved post-processing over updates. This camera can produce some fantastic results. So that's it for the unboxing and initial impression of the Realme 7. Guys, it was my first video on YouTube. I have been a tech enthusiast for a very long time, and at last I decided to share my knowledge and thoughts with you. Also guys, I am using a very basic setup to record this video. I don't even have a tripod or an external microphone. So sorry guys for the background noise. Also, in case if you want to know, my name is Devopriyo Ghosh. I am from West Bengal. I'll be posting different videos on technologies, travel, etc. in this channel. I will review various products and will share my personal opinions, which will be completely unbiased. So subscribe this channel and turn on the notification for more such videos. And guys, tell me in the comment section how was this video. As I said, it was my first time. Also, feel free to ask any question related to Realme 7. I will definitely try to answer your query. Guys, I am planning to do a camera review of this phone. I already captured many images, including some beautiful night shots using various modes of the stock camera app as well as the Gcam. I will leave a link to download the Gcam for this device in the description box below. So check that out. So tell me guys, if you want a detailed camera review with a comparison between the stock camera app and the Gcam. And with this, let's end today's video. A big thanks to you from my side for watching the video till the end. See you guys very soon. Bye.